Hello, BookTube. Last year, David Wiley over on his channel started a thing called Bookshelf Essentials, where he pulls down a book off his shelves that isn't like the normal run of books. It's something that really means something to him and talks about it a bit. And I love the idea, so I've been doing some Bookshelf Essentials of my own. And I want to do one today, but the problem with Bookshelf Essentials, one of them that I'm going to try and work against in 2024, I'm going to try to leaven things out. But the problem is that some of my Bookshelf Essentials, I'd say I probably have 300. And a lot of them will be familiar to longtime viewers of this channel because I praised them many, many times. That's the whole point about being a Bookshelf Essential. There are new viewers to this channel who might not have seen them. And I like repeatedly praising things that I really like anyway. So some of these choices might seem familiar to some of you, including today's, which is a kid's book that I cannot praise highly enough. I absolutely love it. It's from 1997. The author is Eve Bunting, and the artwork is by David Christiana. And this is I Am the Mummy, Heb-Nefert. Little children's book that I read in 1997, thought it was absolutely great, just blew me away. One of those children's books that will work for kids, but that will definitely work for adults as well. There are elements of this book that won't work for kids. They just won't see it. It literally works on a couple of different levels. And it starts off with this beautiful artwork. It starts off with a young girl named Heb-Nefert who dances for her lord. She dances for the Pharaoh's brother in ancient Egypt, thousands and thousands of years ago. And he takes a fancy to her. She dresses herself up, including with a cone of scented wax on her head. You put a cone of scented wax on your head, and in the heat, the incredible heat of Egypt, it melts and covers you with an ooze, a scented ooze, all over your head, your ears, your body, your neck. Was a custom. It's not just a fancy of this book. She and her lord become affianced and love each other. We sailed upon the Nile, my lord and I, the wildfire fowl rising from the reeds along the bank, the ripple of the sacred river soft against our boat. Sometimes we saw a hippopotamus, great jaws agape, a crocodile, but we were ever safe. We get just these beautiful, washed-out colors like that to show us what this young couple is doing. We get beautiful imagery, beautiful artwork. This is one of my favorite pictures here. We have a lily pad, but reflected in the lily pad are our two young people, just looking at the water there on a little inlet of the Nile. They go back to the village where Heb-Nefert was born. They go back to the people. We get frequent references to her pet cat, because nobody's perfect. And eventually the cat dies. Little Nebut dies and is mummified for its journey into the afterlife. But eventually Heb-Nefert dies as well and is also mummified for her journey into the afterlife. They made a mask painted to look like me, bound up my cat and masked her too, my faithful cat, Nebut, placed me in my sarcophagus, pictured around with likenesses of gods who would receive me. The sled that took me to my tomb was pulled by oxen. Behind, the lines of weepers wept and sprinkled dust about their heads to show their grief. And she meets the gods. She meets the Egyptian gods, and she knows from her journey in the afterlife that her lord is grieving for her, that he wants an obelisk carved with both their names together. But of course, the same fate is awaiting him. And both of them end up mummified. And then time passes, and long time. Time passed, and time, dark time, and years, till we were found, our bodies moved, placed in glass coffins under lights in quiet rooms, in museums. And people come by. We get a picture of a little boy. People come by, and they ask, was this a person? And this? And this? And Heb-Nefert is watching. The mummy Heb-Nefert is watching, and she is bemused by this. She knows exactly what they think, and she's bemused by it. How foolish that they do not see how all things change, and so will they. 3,000 years from now, they will be dust and bones. I am the mummy, Heb-Nefert, black as night, stretched as tight as leather on a drum. Once I was beautiful. I loved it the first time I read it. I've loved it ever since. I just think it is a beautiful, beautiful little parable. So from 1997, a kid's book from 1997, pretty sure it's not in print anymore, but I strongly, strongly recommend it. For those moments, for me anyway, as a bookshelf essential, for those moments that come along in a regular reading life where you want, it's not so much that you need a palate cleanser of a book, you just need a pick-me-up. Just a quick pick-me-up. Not necessarily a palate cleanser, not necessarily even a reset in your reading, but just whatever is bothering me about the last 3 books. I want just a perfect moment. I want to just savor something for not long, not a huge endeavor. I don't want to take a week out of my reading schedule. I just want to savor something. This works for me for that. So I wanted to use this as a bookshelf essential for today. But it is a rather familiar pick. I have talked about the mummy, I Am the Mummy, Heb-Nefert a few times on this channel. So next time I'll try to pick something that's not quite so familiar. I've got plenty to choose from. So I'll wrap this up for now. I'd love to see some of your bookshelf essentials, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.